Welcome to Musings of a Geriatric Mama, where we discuss all things millennial and motherhood. This is not your average show where we romanticize being a mom, but rather a place where we keep it real while guiding you through restorative living and wellness, mind, body, and soul. Here you'll find impactful insights from high-achieving moms and mother figures navigating life through this exhausting yet simultaneously rewarding journey. You may laugh or cry and even possibly pee yourself. So do a Kegel or two and hold on to your seat. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but it doesn't have to be a lonely one. I'm your host, Kedna Amey, and thank you for meeting me here. As you know, it is our goal to create a safe and empowered space for those that are in this community. But I want to provide a trigger warning for this episode. We will be talking about pregnancy loss. And the truth is, it affects so many of us. And the narrative that we're rewriting is how women are continuing to create legacy after loss and grief, and how resilient women really are. So just know that the insights that you'll get in this episode will be healing and nurturing, because the truth is, we are in this together. You are not alone. You are seen, you are heard, you are loved. Welcome back to Musings of a Geriatric Mama. I'm your host, Kedna Amey, and I'm so excited to be here because I have a special guest with me. Vanessa is in the building. How are you?
Hello. I am doing great. So excited here to be with you.
I'm so excited as well. And I know our listeners are going to be inspired because today we're going to be talking about motherhood, ambition, and how unexpected pivots shape our lives daily. So, to talk a little bit more about Vanessa, she started her journey on a traditional career path, but motherhood shifted everything and led her to entrepreneurship and to build an empire she hadn't originally planned for. Vanessa is the director of everything. These are her words herself. And I'll let her explain a little bit more. A title that perfectly captures her dynamic leadership and hands-on approach to creating unforgettable experiences. In addition to running a thriving event business alongside her husband and business partner Eddie, Vanessa is a licensed speech language pathologist with a master's of speech language pathology. Her expertise is both grounded in science and creativity. As a clinician, Vanessa holds multiple specialized trainings, including TCIT, AVT, and prompt therapy, and she is proudly licensed in the state of Florida. She's an active member of respected organizations such as the American Speech Language Hearing Association, the Wedding Industry Professional Association, and the Florida Festivals and Event Association. When she's not planning extraordinary events or working with clients, Vanessa embraces her most rewarding role, being a wife and mother. She and Eddie are raising their son who's growing every day, and together they're balancing family, life, and entrepreneurship. Vanessa is passionate about showing women that it's possible to pivot, evolve, and thrive, whether in career, motherhood, or life. Through her story, she embodies the belief that ambition and family don't have to compete. They can actually flourish together. Welcome, Vanessa.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Vanessa.
Thank you.
So, for everyone that may not know you, we're going to go into your own introduction, but I want to do it this way.
Okay.
So, what I realize is that motherhood sometimes can overshadow the person we were before. And this podcast is about celebrating motherhood and womanhood and embracing the person that we thought was lost, but finding a way to reclaim her. Before we talk about your pivot to entrepreneurship, tell me more about Vanessa before she became a mom. What did you like to do? Who was that girl? And how did we get here?
Vanessa started off with dreams of becoming a teacher, which I did. I was a teacher. And while I was a teacher, I then started seeing that there were a lot of children that needed some extra help. And I discovered the path to speech language pathology. And I found that I had more control to help kids on a one-on-one basis as a speech therapist than I did as a teacher when you have 20 plus children in your classroom. So while I was a teacher, I started studying to become a speech language pathologist, and then I got my master's degree doing that. During this time, we were also already starting MPE. So I was doing both simultaneously. Yes. However, I was full time as a speech language pathologist. I used to say like, "Oh, I'm an SLP by day and MPE by night."
Yes.
At that time, I was, with my flashcards, I would be studying for a
Mm,
final the next day, but I was sitting on a speaker at a party with Eddie, doing an event. So we were doing both. I was Eddie's ghostwriter
mm,
for a very long time, where nobody really knew I was in the scene and part of anything, but I was just supporting the dream of
mm.
having our own business someday. And Vanessa and Eddie also love to party. We do parties, but we love to party. So we met through dance. Eddie was a DJ at a salsa club that I would attend. Um,
Yes.
with salsa
I
my
love
way up to
that.
his heart.
I love that.
And so loved, loved, loved to dance.
So love
Dancing
on the dance floor.
100% live on the dance floor. Our wedding invitation said, y todo comenzó bailando, meaning everything started dancing.
Oh,
So
yes.
that literally is how we met. We met already like in the party scene.
Hmm.
So I've always loved being creative. I've always loved parties and celebrations and getting together and having a good time. Anybody that knows me knows I love a theme. So if there is a theme, I'm going to be dressing it. I'm going to be embodying the theme.
Absolutely.
So definitely is a big foreshadowing of what ended up coming later on.
I love that. I love that. It all started on the dance floor. And what I'm reminded of your love story is that even though, and we're going to talk about how you transition into parenthood, even though we're parents, I feel like we always have to keep that spark. So I'm wondering if you guys still go out dancing.
When we can, when we can, we definitely do. Sometimes
Yeah,
we just dance in the kitchen.
I love that.
I will just throw on a song and dance anywhere
Yeah.
because we both just love it. There's been times we'll
Yes.
share little Instagram clips. If there's music playing and a nice salsa song comes on, we'll stop what we're doing and just get some twirls in.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
but
love
I
that.
mean, definitely a lot harder to go out and dance
Yeah.
because, I take care a lot in the office, the pre-prepping
Mm,
and planning of what comes for the event, like the
yeah.
designs and putting things together, but then Eddie's part is more heavily on the weekends and the logistics of the actual event.
Yeah.
So it does become hard, but when we do, we get it in.
I love that. I love that. And I love the partnership because that definitely can make things smoother, especially when it's time to be parents together. Tell us a little bit about your motherhood journey and when did you decide to become a mom and at what age?
Uh, Eddie and I got married when I was 29 years old. We met when we were 26. So, got engaged, got married, planned and did everything on our own because at that point we didn't know a lot of people in the industry. We were just kind of starting out. So, Eddie laid down his own dance floor. We
Oh
put
my
up our
gosh.
own
Love that.
trusses. Like, we were working within our own wedding and, all hands on deck when it came to family and friends.
Mm,
And then it was about a year. I mean, when you see what your life is gonna look like when you're a teenager, I think I planned out my life even when I was like 10. Like I was like, I'm gonna
guilty.
get,
Guilty.
yeah. You're like,
Yes.
I'm gonna get married when I'm
Hmm.
22 and I'm gonna have
Yeah.
my first baby by 25.
Oh,
I'm gonna have my
yeah.
second baby by 27. And I
Yeah.
had like this entire life layout and none of that happened. None of it. So once I was 30, I was like, I gotta have a baby. Like I'm already like 5 years behind on my like timeline, like of baby making. We were both ready. We were both very much on the same page on wanting to like start our family. The first time we tried, we did have a miscarriage. And so, but we tried a few months after and we were successful. I got pregnant at 30 but had Noah by the time I was 31. So at 31 became a mom. I had been working full time as a speech language pathologist, the 40 hours a week, and then I was part-time, I guess, MPE. At that point, I wasn't like on payroll. I was just, doing what I had to do to support in any kind of way.
Hmm.
And I was working as a speech pathologist up until the week before I gave birth. Like I was like days
Wow.
before. And I took, Noah was born August of 2019. I took 4 months of maternity leave.
I
So I
love that.
planned on coming back for the new year. So
Okay.
not obviously not January 1st, but whenever school's that first Monday of school starting back, because at the time, as a full-time SLP, I was working school.
Hmm.
It's an early intervention school for 0 to 3-year-olds. So
Hmm.
I was working a lot in early childhood development
Hmm.
with children with lots of different disabilities and lots of different diagnoses. So I would do that during the school day, school hours, and then after that I would leave and I'd go to the clinic and continue to see children up until like 7:30 at night. So
Wow.
when I returned in January with a 4-month-old baby, and I was gone for 10 hours a day, Monday through
Mhm.
Thursday, because I did adjust my schedule so I'd have at least Fridays off to be with him.
Yeah.
It hurt my heart a little bit because I was missing out on a lot of milestones. And as a speech
Yes.
language pathologist that thrives on looking for milestones and
Milestones. Exactly.
yeah, I'm like, and I'm working with 0 to 3-year-olds, literally
Yeah.
babies. So it was very fulfilling in that I was helping other children meet those milestones, but it did hurt my mama heart that I was missing my son's milestones. So it was fine. I knew that was coming and I knew that that was something that came with the territory. But March hit, that 2020.
We know what happened then.
Yeah, so I was back to work, what, for all of 3 months. And in March, COVID hit. And
Yep.
suddenly, everybody go home. Now all therapy is going to be done via Zoom. I had to get
Wow.
retrained, into like
Talk
how
about pivot, right?
huge pivot that I did nobody planned for. Nobody planned for. How the heck do I do therapy via Zoom?
Like, how?
That was not something that you really saw at the
No.
time. Like I was hands-on. I was on the floor. I was with toys and puzzles and I wore leggings and scrubs because I was on the floor. I was crawling. I was in the drool.
Yeah.
Like I was like, and a lot of the trainings that you mentioned are very tactile. Like the
Yeah.
prompt therapy is, prompting using that, physical touch
Right.
to elicit sounds. And I'm like, so we had to do all kinds of training to now again to
Again.
kind of prepare for Zoom therapy, where I'm going to be training either paraprofessionals that are at home with these children or parents that are at home with these children, which was a good thing because now the parent, I kind of saw that as a great thing because at the
Sure.
end of the day, the kids are seeing me for a certain amount of time on a certain amount of days, but I'm teaching these parents these techniques that they could do all the time when they're with their children. So that was a good part of it. The blessing in that was that I was back home with my baby. Yes.
Yeah.
And at the time I was breastfeeding. I breastfed till he was 20 months old.
That's amazing.
So it was really cool to, I'd be like hiding,
Yeah.
breastfeeding my son, and I'm
Yeah.
here doing therapy and
Yeah.
a lot to juggle for sure. I
For
had a
sure.
full packed schedule, Zooms back to back, same schedule till 7 p.m. at night, but at least I was with my son.
Yeah.
So that was a big eye-opening time for sure.
Yes, I can imagine. And a couple of things that I took away from what you said. You were in healthcare, and healthcare doesn't stop. Sometimes, healthcare can be thankless, but I just want to let you know because I have a personal story related to what you do as a language pathologist. And I just want to thank you and all the speech language pathologists that sacrifice their time, their effort, their body, their mental wellness to be in a space that allows children to thrive by giving them those techniques, by showing them the things that they need to be able to cope, to be able to be as functional as they can in society. So I want to go ahead and thank you for doing that and doing that on top of being a new mom.
Hmm.
That in of itself is a challenge. And I myself working in healthcare, I definitely can relate to that pivot into being in the office and then doing telemedicine. And at that time, I think my son was about 3 or 4 months. I had my son January of 2021. So a year after the initial, I guess, shock of the pandemic. And how are we moving these different parts where we can try to continue to thrive as a society, but also keep the people that we love, including our children, safe? And I think that's something that we have to talk about more, like the effects of the pandemic on new moms and how they trickle down to our children and our families. But
Yes.
as I'm thinking about it, what it reminded me of is that women and mothers are super resilient, okay? That innately within us, we have everything it takes to pivot in order to allow for our families to thrive and keep going. So I just love that perspective because we don't talk a lot about what it really takes to be full time as moms and then take care of newborns. So I'm happy that we're having this conversation. So, a little bit more about that pivot. From what I understood, you did both.
I
You
did
were
both for
working
a
full
while.
time as a speech language pathologist and pretty much full time as the backbone of this business, or what you called yourself as the director of
Director of
everything.
everything.
And honestly, Vanessa, as moms, are we not that title as well? So you have the title
Listen,
at home and at work?
exactly. And this it actually came about a little bit as a joke when it was time to make like business cards. And we're not like huge on titles here. We're just kind of like
Mm,
all hands on deck. Like
yeah.
everybody just needs to put all their efforts to get something going. So I'm like, okay, let's see. I send out invoices. So, okay, I'm director of accounts. I also direct the designers for, anything that's going for the events and the designing of the actual events. So I'm like the director of the design department. I also kind of manage the social media. So I'm also like director of the social media. Like it's just I'm like, okay, just director of whatever is needed.
Exactly.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put that on my business card. It's a good, way to like break the ice anyway and get
Yeah,
a little chuckle out of people.
I love that. When I saw that, I just was like, that is how we are in life as women. And to me, what it sounds like as women who've always been high achievers, I can completely relate to what you said earlier about planning your life to a T. So when you are a woman that's a high achiever, how does it feel to pivot? Like, what does a pivot really feel like to you? And how did you overcome the new thing?
By that point in life, I had already had so many pivots that
Hmm.
I don't want to say that it's like waving the white flag,
Hmm.
but you kind of just feel like you have no choice but to keep going, and
Hmm.
failure is not an option. So you're going to just be the best at whatever is handed you at the moment.
Agreed.
Prior to meeting Eddie, my amazing husband, I had another marriage. I had gone through a divorce.
Hmm.
And that was a huge failure or pivot in my life as well. At that point, I did get married at 23. I did have a certain plan in motion, and that marriage ended up being the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Hmm.
Well, one of them. So, it was like a Kim Kardashian marriage. I was divorced by 10 months later, and I was like, whoa. And that was a huge decision for me because for me, divorce was not an option in my
Yeah.
head. And it wasn't until I went, to my church and I told them what was going on. And they were like, no, you need to get out of this. And I was like, oh, okay, this is that bad. So that was already like a huge pivot.
Sure.
So I was
That
already
you
off my
overcame.
timeline
That
that
you
I
overcame.
overcame big time. So at that point in life, I was like, I'm so blessed to have met such an amazing man that I
Hmm.
literally feel like I prayed for.
Hmm.
He was, I gave God a list, and he checked off all the
Wow. I love
entire
that.
list. So at that point for me, I'm like, I am in for whatever this situation comes with. I'm back to work. I'm working full time. It's COVID times. I have a newborn. I'm still breastfeeding. I'm dealing with this new Zoom. I'm dealing with the insecurities of our business during COVID,
Hmm.
where things have been canceled. We're not sure what that's going to look like.
Right.
And thankfully, micro weddings became a thing.
They
shortly
were. I do
after.
remember that.
People had huge budgets for these micro weddings, and we actually, after like I would say 2 or 3 months of zero events, suddenly we boomed and we were growing
Wow.
during COVID. And we're like,
Yes.
wow, when you let go and let God, like God provides. And then that November, my father-in-law falls extremely ill
Mm.
with COVID,
Mm.
intubated, the whole thing. And if anyone knows Eddie, his father's like his right-hand man. His
Yeah.
father works with us. He's our number one guy. He's the inspiration behind all the print. He's the reason Eddie knows everything he knows.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I'm talking about my mental health
Yeah.
went into like the oblivion by the end of that year.
Mm.
I was a shell of a person
Mm.
trying to give therapy and be positive and see children and parents, and I have to greet them with a smile.
Yeah.
And I felt at rock bottom when then that December I fall pregnant, and I then also had a miscarriage at that point as well. So it was just a series of unfortunate events after that point. And that January, I couldn't anymore. I literally would wake up and feel like I wanted to just go back, like keep sleeping. And
Yeah.
I wanted each day to just go by. I was going through the motions. I did
Yeah.
not feel like I was present for my baby, for my husband, for anything. I was on autopilot
Yes.
where
Yes.
I could look back and not even really, I can't even remember some of what happened because I was not there. I was just getting by.
Yes.
So at that point, that following year in 2021, at that point, January, February, I made already the decision to go part-time as an SLP and, be there for my husband because at that point, like his parents have a business as well. So we were trying to run two businesses,
Wow.
um, with the baby and all the things. A lot of things going on at the same time. And I think that was the biggest moment that changed where my life then continued on after that.
I I just want to pause and just honor you being vulnerable and talking about loss because so many women experience loss and may not ever really have a chance to tell your story or their story. So thank you for feeling safe enough to let us know how loss affected you. What I also heard is how you were able to little by little overcome all the series of unfortunate events, like as you said, to be more present for yourself. Because in motherhood, we do get lost, or we can get lost. However, when you add on top of not only caring for a young child, but managing a business, caring for aging and elderly or sick parents, and also being as present emotionally for a spouse. It's a lot.
It
It's
was a
it's
lot.
a lot. And there's actually something that in the psychological community, it's called the invisible mental load. And it basically talks about how women constantly, especially mothers, our brains are constantly going. We have this to-do list that
Yes.
every day or every living moment, right? Did we do this? Did we make the appointment? Did we thaw out the chicken?
Uh-huh.
Did we wash our hair? Did we brush our teeth? Like
All of it.
like
And
like
sometimes it wakes you up from your sleep like,
you're
did I file for my taxes? Like, I don't know, something like you just wake up and like not like you're gonna do anything about it at 4 o'clock in the morning. But you just like,
but it's just nonstop. It's just nonstop. And I myself realized this year through all of exactly what you said. We were a part of what they call the Great Resignation. In 2021, so many people left healthcare. And
mm-hmm.
the pivot was at that point, um, people decided to create their own things
Yeah.
because we realized doing such a tough time that life was so precious. Okay.
Mhm.
So we decided to kind of take huge leaps of faith and create something that would be foundational for our families. And that is what your story reminds me of.
And that's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
That's
And
exactly what happened that year in 2021 when I went part-time. as a speech pathologist. And again, this was still through Zoom. I never went back to the office. As it is, just I think like a year or two ago, I'm still very close to my previous boss. She's still my boss because I'm actually still practicing. I just see one patient 3 times a week, but I
That's
would say I'm like,
awesome.
I don't know, 1/8 part like time, you know.
Sure.
I don't know what to call it, but I am still an active therapist.
That's
So she's still
awesome.
my boss.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Hey, so I'm moving offices, and you kind of have to come pick up your crap. Like you got a bunch of stuff still here." Because I never physically went back. At that point, Eddie and I did sit down, and we were like, number one, even though I was with Noah, I wasn't with Noah. Mentally, I was not with Noah. I wasn't mentally anywhere. I wanted to be present with my son.
Yep.
I started just doing all the things that I would do in therapy with my 0 to 3 year old babies, and I just started doing all of it with him.
Awesome.
All the sensory activities. I took out all
Yeah.
the bins and the slime, and
Yeah.
people would like look at my Instagram stories and are like, why is she making such a mess? And I kind of took that time to like educate people. People
Love
don't know
that.
about like slime bins and sand
No.
bins, and like I would like boil pasta and let it cool and just stick them in a bin with pasta,
Mm.
and just let them play with the pasta.
Yeah.
And nobody understood like the significance of some of those things. And I got to, I used like my personal IG platform to kind of, I knew everybody was having babies. It was like early 30s, a bunch of people having babies. They're like,
Absolutely.
what is it that you're doing? What is that good for? And I was able to explain. I felt at that point like, oh, I like telling people like you don't need an iPad. You don't need a cell phone, to entertain your kids. Like Noah was playing with his bin for 30 minutes. It was fantastic. And it was
Amazing.
safe. I would make sure that whatever the activities I was recommending to friends out there were like age appropriate, where,
Yes.
you don't have to worry when, your child is doing these things. And there's so many great things that are happening in their little tiny brains, that is going to be fantastic for their development in the long run. 0 to 3 years old is the most pivotal time in childhood brain development. So you think like playing with pasta is just playing with pasta, but there's sensory elements, tactile elements, there's understanding, there's so many things that will come into play after the fact later
After.
on,
Yeah.
when they're going to be exposed to different things in the future.
Yeah.
That's where that early intervention comes in. And I'm like, you don't need
Absolutely.
to wait to see a red flag from your child. If you have one, or if you have a worry, start doing these things. They're going to be great for them no matter what.
Absolutely. I just want our listeners to hear that one more time. Early intervention is key. I know that this podcast loves to empower and focuses on the wellness of the mom, mind, body, and soul. But we're mothers, so our children are integral to who we are and who we're evolving to be. So you will get tips from experts in their fields about what you need to do to support your children to continue to thrive as you continue to thrive. If you ever see any red flags, remember one thing before I do continue. Our guests are licensed professionals and they have every right in their expertise to give advice. But we always want you to know to always refer to your primary care provider or your primary therapist or specialist to continue to care for your family. But yes, we are licensed professionals, and as Vanessa said, early intervention is key. If you see signs, if you're worried about anything, listen, mother's intuition. If you feel
100%.
anything is off, just listen to your gut and advocate for your child. We are there to be their advocate. And for all the mamas out there that are going through this journey where their children are going through therapy, you're not alone. You're
At
not
all.
alone, and everything you're doing is going to benefit that child, and you will see how much your child grows as they're supported with the proper therapies and the proper intervention. So I'm glad that we had a chance to talk about that. And what I also realize is that your formal education, or how we're trained, like you said, allowed you to be even more supportive to your son.
100%.
If there's anything in your formal education as an SLP that prepared you for motherhood, what would you say that would be?
For sure, understanding what early intervention and early milestones look like.
Mm.
I probably bothered Noah so much because I was constantly looking for, hey, is he giving me a good amount of interaction? Is he giving me a
Mhm.
good amount of contact? Is
Mhm.
he pulling to stand at a right time? I also don't want it to do it too early when his body's not ready.
Mm.
So I was obviously also in a very high anxiety state
Mm.
postpartum during
Yes.
COVID,
Yes.
knowing too
Yes.
much, knowing too
Knowing
much,
too much. Wait,
knowing
stop.
too
Whoa,
much.
whoa. Knowing too much, Vanessa. I feel that as providers, professionals, high achieving women, ambitious women that know how to research and do the things, knowing too much can sometimes steal our joy when it comes to early motherhood.
Yes, and
Completely
it was
agree.
like a high, all the high anxiety that you could have, and when you're postpartum, you're already kind of, you become infatuated and obsessed, and like the anxiety is high,
It's high.
already. At home now, it's
Still
within COVID
within
times.
COVID.
So I am looking at that child like an ant through a microscope. Like I am
Yeah.
looking at every move.
Yeah.
And on Fridays, which that my schedule still, even though I was in Zoom, my schedule still contained where Fridays I was off. Fridays was mommy's school day with Noah. And we would wake up in the morning, we would
Love
have
that.
sensory breakfast where I would always say, God bless this mess, because I would take
Mhm.
videos of Noah having breakfast and they're like, oh my God, it's a mess. Yes, he's learning through this mess. God bless this mess. I want him
Yeah.
to get in there and touch and feel and put it all over his face. I want that. I want him to experiment the textures and flavors of things. So we would do a sensory breakfast, we'd clean up, we would then do some kind of like a puzzle activity or like a sorting activity and do vocabulary. Or I would have him do a choice of two, like, oh, do you want ball or you want puzzle? I'd let
Yeah.
him choose. I had a little mini schedule for him. It was like mommy's school time. I would have like PE for him, which like was basically whether we were working on crawling or walking, or it was tummy time at the time. So wherever he was in his milestones, and that was up until nap time. And then he would have a nap. And then, but I still maintained a structured schedule the same
Hmm.
way, like as if, I was giving, some kind of a school type of environment for him. And that obviously came from my education,
Love that. Love
that
that.
I wanted structure for him. I wanted experimenting for him. I wanted exposure. And I was the only one he was seeing all the time because
Yeah.
I couldn't take him to the park,
Yeah.
couldn't take him to go play, so I felt like it was on me to have that human interaction and constant, communication and talking to him and trying to keep, TV and any kind of technology minimal. It's not
Okay.
bad, but using it as a tool versus something that I was relying on
Understood. Yes.
was,
Yes.
and it still is a struggle. The kid is 6 years
Oh,
old and it's still a struggle.
is he 6 years old already?
He's
Time flies by.
He
Oh
just
my
turned six
gosh.
in August. He's in first grade.
My goodness.
So
Yeah.
still very much a struggle. And we're here, we're all together. We're together as a family. Later on when I pick him up from school, he's here with us until we're done
I
with
love
work.
that. Yeah. So he sees everything that you're doing. He's grown up seeing the sacrifices. He's grown up seeing what it really takes to reclaim your time. That is what I got from you, is that entrepreneurship can be a way to reclaim your time with your family.
Hmm.
What words do you have for women that may feel like they can't do it all, or slowing down is a negative thing? Could we talk about how you can marry the two and the importance of creating something for yourself that allows you to buy back your time?
The answer to that is you can't do it all. and you can't do everything. So accept that. Accept that.
Accept
And that's
that.
still something I'm still trying to accept. I cannot do it all. And that's
Yes.
okay. And that's
And
okay.
that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
It's fine. You
It's
know,
fine.
it's more like setting the priorities of, okay, what does need to get done? Can't do it all, but what does need to get done? This is still something I work on daily. This is
Yeah.
not something that any of us should feel like I've got this mastered, because guess what? Something else comes up and you got to pivot
Exactly.
again. So
Exactly.
this is a constant effort, and that's why this support system and this platform is so important, where we all help each other and support each other so that we all know we're all in the same position, just with different ingredients, but the recipe is the same.
Different ingredients, a little bit of different seasonings, depending where you're from.
But the end game is the same. We
It
all want
is.
healthy, happy households, and we all want to thrive, and we all want to be able to provide, and we all want to be happy. So recipe and end game's the same, but the ingredients just might look different. And at least we do have this a platform like this. Thank you so much, Kate, for something like this, because it is great to have people to talk to and relate to. I got into a crazy cycle even here at work, where I became too encapsulated on like work, and like, okay, I have this and I have that, and my son's with me, but again I fell into the, but I'm not with him. He's
Yeah.
here with me, but I'm not here with him.
Yeah.
And I started not liking it. Started
Yeah.
to not like how that feels. So
Yeah.
then I did little changes, because I am in a high demanding business where
Yes.
there's weekly deadlines. Sometimes a deadline comes, there's something that's due in 2 days, and
Yeah.
that due date's coming whether I like it or not. So
Right.
there are things that I have to set a priority, but I for sure take my time. Like for me, I want to pick up my son from school.
Hmm.
That was a non-negotiable. There's one day or two here and there where, okay, something comes up and I can't. But for me, I want to pick up my son from school.
Yeah.
If I'm working for myself, that's something I should be able to do.
Exactly.
The next thing was taking a certain amount of time with zero distractions. I come to this room and I'm going to do his homework with him.
Mm.
Before, it was I had a table next to my table at my desk in front of my computer, and I'm like
Mm.
kind of like,
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't feel like I was giving it my full attention at that time. And I know how important, for me, education is super important.
Absolutely.
And I wanted him to feel like you have mommy's 100% attention from this time to this time.
Absolutely. I
So
completely agree.
I take a certain amount of time. It might be 30 minutes, it might be 45 minutes, whatever amount of time it takes. I come into this room. I treat it like a meeting with a client, and I am
Block
going
off
to
that
I
time.
block off the time. I'm gonna, work on reading, do his homework,
That's amazing.
discuss his whatever it is, that's gonna be it. And then another big one for our family that me and Eddie do take turns on is bedtime routine. We don't have Noah
Yes.
go to bed on his own.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
One day
Yes.
it might be me, one day it might be Eddie, depending on who's available. Sometimes he wants to pick. He's very fair, my son. It's really cute. He'll be like, Mommy, you put me to bed yesterday, so dad'll put me today.
I
Like,
love
he's
that.
very fair, which is really cute. Back in the day, it was like, Mom. But I'm very happy that he has like an empathetic part to his little heart,
I
where
think
like
that
he's
comes
like,
from
I
you,
don't
from what
want
I
dad,
hear.
he's like, I don't want dad to feel left out. So he's very
Oh my
fair
gosh.
to kind of be like, oh, if both parents are home, like I want to like, take turns. So the bedtime routine is another important one, where we go to bed with him. If he wants a story, we do prayer together as a family. And he wants his hand, like he's in bed and we have like a little rocking chair next to him, and he wants his hand held until he falls asleep. Blocking that time off, okay?
Oh,
That
that
time is
is so
blocked off.
sweet.
And when he falls asleep, we do the crawling,
Speaking out, of course.
sneaking out, and then we'll go back to whatever we got to get back to. So
I love that.
it's just chiseling out moments throughout the day. It doesn't have to be like now, it doesn't have to, just making it work where you still feel fulfilled. And again, this is not something that's 100% mastered,
Of
because
course.
things come up, you
Of
know,
course. Of
but
course.
just making it a priority and working together as a team to make it happen.
And that's what I love. That's what I love. Intentional time that you set out. I think more than anything, life gets so overwhelming at times that it is hard to do the things. Ladies, it is hard to do all of the things, even though it's almost like we were indoctrinated to do everything ourselves.
Mhm.
You don't have to do it yourself, but if you do, you can set intentional time for the things that matter the most. And what I loved, Vanessa, is how you prioritize what was important and how you set boundaries. Because I do feel like, as high achieving, ambitious women, unfortunately, sometimes we may have an element of people pleasing and overthinking, and we don't always set healthy boundaries. So, setting healthy boundaries as an ambitious woman, an entrepreneur, someone that's navigating the career space, in order to preserve your mental health and in order to create a nurturing environment for your family to thrive, you have to set healthy boundaries. So, it's just so sweet to hear those routines that you probably had since he was a child. And
Yes.
now, as he's growing, he himself is learning to prioritize family, and he himself understands how important empathy is and seeing everyone and what love really is and what it feels like. I just love that. That made me smile
Oh,
so much hearing that. So we are getting very close to wrapping up. We're coming to a segment that is one of my favorites, but I want to ask you one more question about entrepreneurship. Okay. What has been your most eye-opening discovery about trying to balance being a mother and an entrepreneur at the same time?
my most eye-opening discovery is realizing that I needed therapy,
Let's talk
to
about
be
it. Wait,
honest.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's go there. Let's go there. Yeah.
I I did not know how to balance everything. I did
Hmm.
not know how. I did not have the tools. I wasn't sure how to do it. I really did feel like I was trying to do all the things and I never felt good enough at any of
Hmm.
them. I felt like I was giving 100% to everything, but the grade was an F on all. Like I gave it my all here and there, but I still wasn't just, I wasn't meeting it. I wasn't making it.
Hmm.
I'm, trying my best to be here for my son, but I'm like, but dang, I forgot that this homework and I don't know how I forgot it because I looked through it, but your brain is just
Yeah.
going at 100 miles a minute for everything. And I felt inside that I wasn't being fulfilled or succeeding at anything. Even though in the exterior it might look different for myself, I felt inside that I was not feeling fulfilled or exceeding at any of them.
Vanessa, that is what I feel a lot of us as first time mothers later in life battle every single day
Yep.
because we have had a history of operating with excellence. Everything we do must be this. We must exceed expectations at all times. When it comes to motherhood, we wanted to approach it the same way. And what we found ourselves is feeling like we were failing. And the truth is we weren't failing. We just couldn't approach it the same way because motherhood is so dynamic. And then when you add entrepreneurship and marriage and partnership and families and other relationships that are important to you, as you're trying to navigate all these spaces, you realize that overwhelm was going to be your cup of tea because we're no longer just hyper focused on getting the A's, passing the test, or passing the bar, or getting your license. It was no. I'm responsible for someone's well being.
Yep.
And we made this intentional decision to go on this journey. And now we want to make sure that we don't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that pressure that we've known to put on ourselves, now we're trying to have that trickle into motherhood and it just leaves us spent. So, can you tell me how therapy helped you with that and do you recommend it?
I've never not been a believer in therapy. I mean, I'm a therapist myself, but it was just one of those things that you kind of just keep putting off.
Right.
Yes, like I think I actually tried years prior to start therapy and I didn't click with the therapist and I was like I have to meet someone else. So I would definitely say like as if you're trying to search for therapy, you don't necessarily need to go with the first therapist you find. Like you also have to find the person
Agree.
that you connect with. So
Agree.
don't be discouraged, like look for someone that you connect with. But I finally jumped the gun and did it because I know we went a little bit into my struggle with having a second child. That's still something that's currently happening. I still haven't been able to have my second child, and I've had several miscarriages in the last a couple of years. So one of the organizations that I'm part of invited me to talk about it, and someone very special on that panel after the fact told me, have you really spoken to anybody about all of this? And I'm like, I've been
Mm.
meaning to. I felt like that was like one of those God angel moments
Yeah.
because it was like the last push I needed. I had been wanting to, and this person recommended a therapist that specializes in not only women that are trying to conceive, but entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And it was like so specific of exactly
Yes.
what I needed.
God is so intentional.
Very intentional. So I met her and she's been fantastic. She's been, I don't just speak about my struggle with having a baby. I speak about the stresses of life, how to balance, being a mother, being an entrepreneur, all the stress with work, any kind of stresses with my marriage when it comes to it, my worries as an entrepreneur into like
Mm.
having a second child. Can I
Mm.
juggle another child when this is what my life already looks like?
That's real.
100%. And she's been a huge blessing. And it was like, it had to me, I'm like, just like I prayed for my husband, I prayed my therapist into existence
Love that.
because I was like, wow, she was like everything I needed and more. So the biggest realization is don't do it alone. Like, don't. I tried to do it alone, and what was I thinking? It's too much for one person to handle, even if it's just your thoughts.
Even if it's just your thoughts.
Even your thoughts are too much for just you to handle.
Yeah.
So find someone, whether it's a therapist or a friend or a family member or someone that you could confide in, or this beautiful platform, anyone where you could, diarrhea, vomit of the mouth, all the things, and find, someone that could relate or that could help, or maybe just give you realizations of what are proper boundaries. It could be a small goal. For example, the small goal of I want to pick up my son from school. That's
Yeah.
very achievable goal. Why not? That's
Yeah.
something small. And I didn't come up on my own. My therapist helped me put into place, okay, what are some things that are going to make you feel more fulfilled as a mother
Mm.
during your crazy work day?
I love that. I love that. So if you're out there and you're seeing this or you're listening to this, understand that you don't have to navigate motherhood by yourself. Having someone in your corner, someone that is either a family member or a licensed professional that can help you find those tools that you need to cope and continue to push and persevere, it's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay. And sometimes it's more than okay. It's exactly what you need
And
because
it's powerful. It's
absolutely,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
absolutely, absolutely. Because having a sounding board or feeling seen or heard is empowering. It's beautiful. It renews your soul when someone can see you or hear you or validate the things that you think are crazy but are actually just a part of this life, the
Hmm.
ebbs and flows that we go through, the ups and downs that we have to try and get through. You don't have to do it alone. And I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. If you're in crisis, there's the crisis line. If you need help, please reach out to someone that can help you professionally or a church or whatever community center or any mom group. There's mom groups out there where you can join in community and not feel like you're alone because motherhood definitely can feel that way at times. So we've reached to the point that I'm super excited about because remember, this show is also about who we are as millennial moms.
Millennial woman.
Yes, this is us with our peace signs. So, we're taking our millennial nostalgia break. So, I have to ask, what is your favorite millennial memory, whether it's the fashion, the music, boy bands, or a college memory? First of all, were you into boy bands?
I was, for
Ooh,
sure.
Okay.
And I was in all of them. Don't make me pick between NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Don't
Okay,
do
because
it.
I feel like that is kind of what divides us a little bit, but okay, fine. You like both, then I'm gonna play both too.
I
Okay,
like both. I was into all of them. TLC, Spice Girls, Boys to
oh,
Men.
Spice Girls, yes.
I forgot the one with the rain, like those guys with the rain. Dang.
Guys,
Well,
they're
all
deep.
of them. I liked all of them. I
Not
was like
98. Was it
the
98
typical
degrees?
98 degrees, but there was the other one that the guy's name was Angel. He had like blonde hair. Liquid Dreams. What were their
Liquid
names? They
Dreams.
sang like Liquid Dreams.
No.
Anyway, all of
Okay.
them. I liked
All
them
of them.
all.
All of them. All of
All of
them.
them. I had Josh Hartnett,
Oh my
you know,
gosh. He was
on
such a heartthrob. Watch all those movies. 10 Things I Hate About You.
yeah,
All
for
those.
of 40 Days and 40 Nights, which was a movie I should not have watched,
Let's talk about how we were singing songs and looking at things we
that we
shouldn't
should have
have.
not been singing. But oh my God, I mean, I was a very typical 90s and 2000s girl.
I
Like,
was too. For sure.
I mean, I still wear my hoops. Like, that's
I
still,
have them
that's
too. I
not
have
going
them too.
away.
Yeah,
That's not
never,
going
never.
away. And I'm
Rule.
always going to put LOL after my sentences.
I will
That's just,
always use LOL. It
so there's
just is
that.
what we will do forever. I'll be
But one
AE and LOLing.
LOL, LOL. Just in case they think I'm like, like unserious. No, no, no. LOL doesn't have to mean like ha ha ha. It's just like like
Just a
it's
little, yeah,
just a little like side note.
I love
But
that.
one of my when you told me to think about this, I had a very specific memory
Okay,
of me in college. I was studying to be a teacher still at the time.
okay.
And I was working as a tutor, going to people's houses and helping kids with their homework after school for 20 bucks, per household. And my friend had called me that, there was a happy hour at Blue Martini. Who remembers Blue
Blue
Martinis
Martini. Come
on
on, if
like
you're
a
from South Florida,
Wednesday?
you know Blue Martini.
And then she goes to me, she's like, but Vanessa, mind you, I mean, I had a job, but it was like tutoring, so it wasn't like an official job.
Right.
And then she was like going to school full time. She had zero job. And she's like, there's a happy hour at Blue Martini. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm finishing up, like I'm on my way home from my last kid. And I'm like, what do we wear? We're talking about what do we wear? And
Come
she's
on.
like, we have to dress corporate. And
Duh.
I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna dress corporate. So I put on like this pencil skirt
Uh,
and a hot pink. Look, I had already manifested a hot pink button down with like black polka dots and my, like the pointiest heels you could find. Entire outfit by Charlotte Russe from Westland Mall.
absolutely. Charlotte Russe.
Charlotte Russe was my store, like head to
Absolutely.
toe in
Charlotte
Charlotte
Russe. Head
Russe.
to toe,
Okay.
Charlotte Russe. Absolutely.
R.I.P. Charlotte Russe, I miss you because that was our Forever 21 from
It
back then.
was. It was.
And I showed up like I had just came from a board meeting. Like I was like,
We were already running the boards meetings, okay?
listen, corporate attire at the clubs and at the bars was the thing. Like
Listen, like we
I
were
I think I even had bought like fake prescription glass. Like I don't wear glasses.
definitely,
Like I
definitely
had
had every color.
like,
Yeah.
hello, Miss Teacher has
Yeah.
arrived,
Come on
like,
now.
and then is she going teaching like that, like what? So that was funny. That was looking back, because now do kids even go to the club anymore? Number
I
one.
don't know what's going
And number two,
on.
if they do go out, it's like they're in sneakers and jeans, and I'm like,
Jeans. It's like jeans. Like, I absolutely, it's like this. Like, we stepped out correct. And just in case there was going to be a last minute on the spot interview at the club, we were ready.
we were ready. Channel 7, I got you.
We were
Like
we
I'm
were so
dressed
ready.
to impress. I could go
Dressed
from
to
office
impress.
to nightclub in an instant.
It's like, you want to talk about versatility? As millennials, we were versatile. Okay, I love that.
We were
And don't forget the thick belt or high-waisted belt. I had
yeah,
every
that what was
color.
it holding? It was
I
holding,
have no idea. It was holding absolutely nothing.
our
It was
hopes and
floating.
dreams.
It
It
was
was holding our hopes and dreams.
that part.
It wasn't holding anything else.
Oh my
It wasn't even
God.
in the loop. Like it was just
It
like up
wasn't in the
there.
loop. No, it was just suspended in midair. But I love that. And I love that about us. We were just ready. We were corporate ready. We
And
were
that's why we're still ready. We're
that.
the millennials, are you kidding? We're just always ready.
We're always ready. Okay, what they
Bring
say,
it.
stay ready. You don't have to get ready. So
I
I
love that.
love that. I love that. Vanessa, it's been such a pleasure. The reason why I started this podcast is I wanted a space for women and mothers to feel safe, to feel empowered, to feel reminded that they're not alone in this journey. We all go through dynamic things, heart-wrenching things that change us. But what I realize is everything we go through prepares us and allows us to evolve into the woman we were always destined to be. So, this
Absolutely.
last question before our listeners connect with you, what would you say to yourself when you were a new mom? What would you tell that version of yourself about who you are today that would make her proud?
Oh, wow. I would say it's gonna be okay. Because at that point, it was a series of unfortunate events with lots of unknowns, too many unknowns at the same time. And you hold on to that, you know, God doesn't put anything in your path that you can't handle. And I really hold that because I have, and everyone has their journeys and their battles that they've been put through. But guess what? If you're standing here, you got through it. And obviously, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So I would tell her, take a breath because I felt like a fish out of water at that
Mhm.
point. I would say take a breath. It's going to be okay. I know
Yep.
it's simple advice, but that's, I think, what I would need to have heard back then.
No, it's simple, but it goes so deep because when we're going through it, it just feels the opposite. It feels not
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah,
hard, it feels painful, it feels overwhelming, and it feels like it's never going to get better. But I agree
yeah.
with you. It's going to be okay. If you're in the thick of it and in your early motherhood journey, you're in that newborn trench, just take things day by day. And for me in the beginning, sometimes I took it moment by moment
That's what
because
I
trying,
say,
because
minute by
trying
minute.
Yes, yes, because sometimes that is just what you'll have to give.
Set those
Just moment by
boundaries.
moment.
That's fine. Sometimes I get asked like tomorrow, I mean for work, at what time are your guy yeah, is this delivery or and I'm like, that's tomorrow's problems. I'm focused on
Exactly.
today. Do you have any
Yes.
questions for me for today? My
Agreed.
my mom goes crazy. She'll be like, "Oh, what are you doing on Saturday?" I'll tell you Friday. I don't even know what I'm
Yes.
doing. I don't even know what I have for
Absolutely.
lunch.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It's
take it, piece it out. Take your life and your day in pieces.
in
Okay,
pieces.
what am I gonna do now? This hour, okay, check. It feels great as women to get something off a checklist. Let's do that.
Yeah.
What do I need to get through
That part.
today?
Yeah. Here we go.
What do I need to get through today? Okay, check. And just like get through it piece by piece. And it's gonna be okay. And you're not alone. Like 100%.
Absolutely. Vanessa, oh my gosh. I can't believe our time has come to an end. This has been like, I literally had to hold back tears throughout this
Uh,
interview just because of the authenticity, the vulnerability, and just the relatability. Sometimes we feel like we're going at this alone, and the truth is, there's a community of us that are navigating these spaces, and it's important to stay connected. So,
yes.
where can our listeners stay connected with you?
If you want to stay personally connected with me, my Instagram is at Van Naranjo Naranjo. And if you would like to stay connected with our business, we're at MPE Event Group. And our website is www.mpeventgroup.com. That, again, that's on the event side, but I love this community. If there's anyone that needs to connect on a personal level, please reach out to me. And you could do it on either one, because remember, I'm the director of everything. So I'm the one on the MPE socials as well. So you could reach me on either one.
That I know personally. I love that. And before you go, tell us a little bit about MPE.
MPE, we're a luxury event branding and production company. So, with our very big backgrounds on printing and fabrication, we do mesh that with production. So, we create beautiful productions and events. We do something as simple as printing a bar menu to, doing a full-on ceremony or corporate event. I like sometimes to call us where we could be a luxury Kinkos. So we don't just do
Ooh,
events.
that's millennial nostalgia too, is Kinko's.
Kinkos. We don't just do events, if someone just needs a printout that they could come and pick it up. That's totally fine as well. So no order is too big or too small. If it's a smaller order, they could come pick up whatever they need for their events. And if it's a bigger order, we send out the troops to get it all done.
Yes, and I have witnessed that in action personally myself. I mean, just a well-oiled machine. And that just speaks to who you and Eddie are and who you are, Vanessa, being the backbone and the brains and all of the moving parts, you being the one to be able to put that together and keep this legacy going and growing.
Thank
So
you.
I'm so excited and so grateful that you joined me today to have a conversation where ambitious women can feel like a pivot wasn't a loss.
Absolutely.
Pivoting could be exactly what you need to be in alignment with your purpose. Pivots are not failures. They're actually opportunities to continue to create the destiny that you were always intended to walk in. As always, thank you for tuning
You're
in
welcome.
to Musings of a Geriatric Mama. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with another mother that needs to hear it. And join me next time for another thought provoking conversation about motherhood, ambition, and inspiration. Thank you again, Vanessa. You're amazing.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.